Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another set of reactions from Blue Archive. Today, requested by Captain Jobo, are themes 274 and 275. Apparently, this is phase 1 and 2 of a new heart-themed boss of some sort. He gave me a lot of context on this, so I'm not going to have to, figure out what the context is. I'm just going to be able to listen to it and hear it out. These both are about 2 minutes long, so I'm going to get right into this. And I guess without further ado, let's go! Ooh. I already see what he's talking about, the heartbeat. Ooh. Kind of industrial. That's different. You don't get much of that out of Blue Archive. At least not the ones I've heard. Nice little sound design accents being tossed around in there too. Little beeps and bloops. I guess that really does make sense, knowing what I know about the boss. A mechanical heart. That fits. Ooh, we got like an acid synth thing going on. Love that. It's almost clubby because of the heartbeat. It's an interesting approach to take for a boss theme. It's very atmospheric. You know what? Because this is phase 1 and 2, I'm just going to jump right into the second phase. No pause between them. I want to be able to feel the context of it. I want to be able to feel them together as one. Ooh. Oh yeah. Oh, that's sick. I love the sound design stuff in the beginning of the second half there too. Kind of like low-key signaling to you that it's going to get faster and more intense. Making this feel a little bit more hectic as well. A lot more distortion on it. Random arpeggiating synths just kind of diddling around in there. That's a neat addition. I like that a lot. This has a lot of sound design stuff I'm liking. That subtle melody in there adds a lot of tension, actually. Had a lot of clashing going on, a lot of dissonance in the notes. Almost feels like something breaking down. Oh, these are separating. Those slowly got farther apart. Yeah, it's still doing it. That's so cool, that error sound. Just slapped in there. Off rhythm. Oh, that's really neat. That's got to be some of the best like sound design stuff I've heard from Blue Archive in a hot second. So because I had the context spoiled for me already, I'm not going to try to get too much into that for obvious reasons. I already know what's happening, generally at least. But it does allow me the freedom to look at this a little bit more objectively than usual. Usually I'm trying to play it safe because I'm also trying to guess what's happening in the moment, like what the song is supposed to represent. But I know that already. So in this case, I can talk more about some of the sound design stuff that I think is really cool and very, very well placed because it adds that context, really. I honestly think I would have understood it even without knowing, and that means it's a really good song. It's a really good composition. The sound design really does a lot there. Like they had already brought up that like heartbeat thing kind of going in there. That I don't think would have signaled anything to me because that's pretty standard just to keep a standard beat. It getting faster is a normal thing to do for a second phase of a boss, so if that was the only info I had, that would have been like a no shit sort of concept. But those other little things in there, those other details like the arpeggiating stuff going on there, kind of adding some hectic energy to the second one. The first one didn't have barely any of that. It was pretty much devoid of all that extra stuff. And the second one just added as much as it could without getting too distracting. But especially at the end there, it got distracting on purpose, which I think is really neat actually. Allowing those like error sounds to not line up is such a neat detail. They could have just tied it into the song and they could have made it sound like it was a part of the track itself, but instead they chose to make it stand out a lot more. And that's an attention to detail that I love because it's just showing you that they care so much about the context of the song. There's a bunch of other little sounds in here, just little tiny electronic noises, beeps and boops and blops that were even in the first part that were also cool just to add that extra bit of atmosphere. They really outdid it with the atmosphere in here. And that's why I would have probably understood it even if I didn't have the context. I could have gotten at least somewhat close. I don't think I would have gotten as close as a mechanical heart, a robotic heart, but I would have gotten at least the general gist of what was happening here, that it was probably a boss fight, that there was something mechanical and electronic trying to kill you, and it was getting more and more fed up, tired, mad, whatever. That's kind of the general idea I would have gotten out of it, and they did a really good job because I can feel that I would have understood that. It's also a bummer that I don't know who did this one. I don't have any credit on screen as to who composed this one, so if anybody knows, let me know. It could have been Emo Cuisine, it could have been any of the others that we usually talk about on here. It's really difficult to tell sometimes, but this definitely had a different sound. But also, there are so many people in the general zeitgeist of the BA music that I think they could have pulled this off easily. Like Mitsukio can be a chameleon. I don't understand how people can do that, but some people can. Mitsukio is one of them. This could have been Mitsukio, but it could have just as easily been Carrot, and it could have just as easily been Emo. So like it could have been anyone, and it's really difficult to know that. But kind of back on the atmosphere, I think the neatest, most subtle part of the atmosphere that they added here was like this airy sort of quality. It's almost like the sound of just like some chambers being opened or something, like airtight seals. That depressurization that would happen, that like sound is like constant through both versions of this. And that's a really cool atmospheric thing that not a lot of people tend to notice or think about. It's not just white noise sometimes. In this, it's definitely meant to be there as part of that aesthetic. It's supposed to be there as part of the atmosphere. And it sounds so cool as a result. Of course, white noise can kind of fit in any mix for anybody who's into making music. White noise can be used a lot of the time just to be a glue for all of the sound that you're working with. Sometimes you just need a little bit of noise to make things feel like they fit. But in this case, I'm guaranteeing that it was supposed to be more like this industrial mechanical sort of sound, and it works really well. There's almost some pulsating in there as well. I'm not sure if that was just side chaining, the bass being connected to it and kind of giving it this like warped sort of pump with that heartbeat, or if it was supposed to be in there like sounding like there's an active process being done, some sort of like actual work happening around you while this is all going down. Either way, it's really cool and well put in. I like that they added that because, again, you can always throw white noise in there, but you can also really tell when it's intended to be in the mix, especially when it's so prevalent. Even though it's subtle, this is also much louder than people would usually put general white noise into a song as a glue. That's usually very subtle, very low, decibels cranked way down, just supposed to be kind of a pad underneath everything else. This is definitely much more prevalent than that, and I like that they put it in there. But I think that's about all I've got to say on this one. I did yap a little bit during the music itself, so I think I've got all my thoughts out of my head. So thank you all so very much for watching. If you have any other songs you want me to get to from Blue Archive, of course, drop them in the comments below, and I will do my best as always to get to them. Or if you just like this video and you want to follow me and support me for more stuff in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!